Hi there, and welcome to part 2 of my Final Fantasy XIV crafting guide. During part 1 we discussed starting a craft, the progress bar and a few progress actions, the quality bar and a few quality actions, some buffs that are simple to understand, actions that have a chance to fail, as well as durability and how to manage it. But as you can see, my hotbars are nowhere near what they will end up being, so let's get started on part 2. As with the previous video, you do not need to be level 80 to understand this guide, as each section has at least one action under level 50. However, that being said, you may wish to rewatch this video once you are max level. There are times when you will need to boost up your control to get even more quality, and that's where Inner Quiet comes in. This is a buff you activate, and it will at first grant you 1 stack of Inner Quiet, which will do nothing yet. However, for every additional stack you earn, your control will increase more and more. For high-level crafts, where you really need that quality bar filled up, whether it's raid food, gear, or a high-level collectible, you will typically want to try to get this to its max of 11 as quickly as possible. Every action that successfully increases quality will increase your Inner Quiet stacks. If it doesn't specify by how much, it will be by 1. So Basic Touch and Standard Touch increase Inner Quiet by 1. Hasty Touch also increases it by 1, as long as it doesn't fail. There are some other touches that might increase it by more than 1. For the most part, we'll talk about them as they come up with their own respective concepts throughout the guide. However, we will talk about a very special one right now, and that's Patient Touch. This is the other action that is not guaranteed to succeed. But if it does, it will double your Inner Quiet stacks. If it fails, it will halve it. This is a pretty big gamble, especially with a 50% success rate. As such, just like the other actions with percentages under 100%, they are typically not used unless necessary. There is one more thing in the crafting window that needs to be brought up, and that's the condition. There are 4 basic conditions. Normal, which means there is no special effect. Good, increases the efficiency of quality actions by 1.5 and also allows you to use special actions available during a good status. Excellent, massively increases the efficiency of quality actions and also allows you to use the same special actions as a good. Poor, massively decreases the efficiency of quality actions. This always follows an excellent. Every step has a chance to change the condition. So what are these special actions anyway? Well, the first one is Tricks of the Trade, which increases your CP by 20. Later on, you will get Precise Touch, which increases quality by an efficiency of 150%. It also adds an additional stack of Inner Quiet, so that means it actually increases Inner Quiet by 2. The default one and the additional one. And much later on, you will get Intensive Synthesis, which increases progress by an efficiency of 400%. This is the second most powerful synthesis action, but unlike Rapid Synth, it has no chance of failure. This can make this a great replacement for Rapid Synth if a good or excellent just happens to occur at the right time. While these actions are great, they do rely on getting the correct status, which is completely random. When it comes to creating macros to make the same items multiple times over and over again, people typically try to make rotations that completely ignore statuses. Statuses are more useful in manual crafting, such as for Ishgard's expert recipes, or if you just don't have the stats needed to create a perfect macro. Okay, so now what about Observe? An action to do nothing for 1 step? Why would you want that, right? Well, it does have a few purposes. First, since every step gives a chance to change the condition, Observe can be used as a way to try to see if a good or excellent might happen. It does have its own CP cost, so it's not always worth it. Typically, fishing for a condition change would be at the end of a craft if you just want to get one last powerful touch action and you have the CP to spare. Similarly, it can be used to get a tick of manipulation. It's much cheaper than Master's Mend, especially if you just need a tiny bit more durability to finish your craft. One last use is to activate special actions, though that comes at a much higher level. Both of them follow the same pattern. You get a slightly stronger synth or touch than your more typical ones. By default, those actions only have a 50% chance, but if Observe was used, they will light up as a combo action and become guaranteed. And those are Focused Synthesis and Focused Touch. Some people love Observe, especially for Focused Touch, because it allows them to get a 150% efficiency quality increase for 25 CP, and of course the standard 10 durability. Others don't like it because it makes Waste Not and Waste Not 2 less efficient. This will really come down to your style, CP, and what is happening with your craft. There is also a special buff called Final Appraisal. For the next 5 steps, no progress actions will complete your craft. This only costs 1 CP and can be really useful for preventing accidents from ruining your craft. If you accidentally press something that would have finished your craft, it will leave 1 progress. This also means you don't have to do math to figure out if something would finish your craft or not. Just put it on and you're safe for 5 steps. Do note though that the buff cancels any remaining stacks once it does save your craft, though you're certainly free to reactivate it. What's interesting about Final Appraisal is that it doesn't count as a step, although it doesn't actually say so in its description, and it really should. It will not cause any buffs to count down, and the condition will not change. It's safe to use at any time. During video 1, I talked about actions that helped you manage your durability, which were Master's Mend, Manipulation, Waste Not 2, and Prudent Touch. I also mentioned some notes like how you couldn't go beyond the max durability and things that can stack. But what I did leave out, on purpose, is an analysis for which one is worth using. Simply speaking, I did not feel a basics video was a good time to scare people with some math. However, we are now reaching the end of the competency video, so this really needs to be addressed. You might have noticed that there is quite a high CP cost to many of these actions, and you will only have so much CP. So let's look at how much durability you earn or save for what CP you spent. Here is a chart with all of them, in the order from the least worth it to the most. You might notice that Prudent Touch is listed twice, once as the least worth it, and another time as the most worth it. That's because its worth depends on how you choose to compare it. If you're looking at Prudent Touch on its own merits, saving 5 durability while spending 25 CP would make this a very low rate. Master's Mend is a pure durability gain, but it is still less efficient than the other options. As such, it is often reserved for when durability gets really low, if there is nothing else that would save your craft. Waste Not cuts durability cost by half, and since most actions will cost 10 durability, this means they'll typically be reduced to 5 and thus save you 5. Waste Not 2 works similarly, but it will be for 8 steps and for a different CP cost. Do note that both Waste Not and Waste Not 2 become less efficient if you end up using actions that do not cost any durability, such as buffs, as it will still use up the step. Additionally, there are a few actions that cost 20 CP. We haven't talked about them yet. But that means that for those, you would be saving 10 durability, which is more than the 5 durability you would normally save, and actually increases your durability saving rate. Waste Not is less efficient than Waste Not 2, so typically it's used when you are running low on CP and cannot afford a Master's Mend or Waste Not 2, or if you know you don't need 8 steps worth of savings. Manipulation is 8 steps of 5 durability added. When it comes to Manipulation and Master's Mend, as long as you don't go over the durability maximum, you won't lower your saving rate. Typically in a craft, you would use Manipulation while you still have a decent amount of durability. And if you know you're going to use a lot of actions that use up durability, you would consider partnering it with Waste Not 2 or Waste Not, depending on how much CP you have left. Last, I have Prudent Touch listed again, but only looking at its extra cost in comparison to a comparable action, such as if you were planning on using Basic Touch anyway. It would be a saving of 5 durability, while only spending 7 extra CP, because you're going to be spending the 18 CP anyway. That's actually really good for just losing the combo action. This makes Prudent Touch the most durability per CP efficient, as long as you were going to use a basic touch anyway. Well, this is the end of this video, but we still have one more to go. Up next, we will be talking about openers, finishers, specialists, and an overview of expert recipes. I will see you next time. Bye bye!